You can lose money and earn it back, lose time and still recover, but lose your reputation, and the doors never open the same way again. In a world where perception is everything, your name is either your greatest asset or your fastest downfall, the invisible currency of power. Reputation is a strange thing. You can't hold it, you can't touch it, and yet it can buy you everything, or cost you everything. In a world of contracts, headlines, brand deals, followers, investors, promotions, and alliances, your reputation is the first thing that enters the room, and the last thing people forget. It precedes you like a shadow. It speaks before you open your mouth. It closes doors without making a sound. You may think you're judged by your results, by your words, by your intentions, but you're not. You are judged by what people think they know about you. And what they think is built not on facts, but on patterns, stories, and signals. Your name is a brand, whether you like it or not. Whether you're a king or a freelancer, a startup founder, or a middle manager, you have a brand. Your name means something to others. It triggers a reaction, a judgment, a decision. For some, your name sparks confidence. For others, it raises questions. And in the worst cases, it activates suspicion, resistance, or fear. In today's world, attention is currency, but reputation is the vault that stores it. You can go viral, but if your name isn't respected, it won't last. You can deliver value, but if your name raises doubt, you won't be trusted. You can build empires, but if your name becomes toxic, they will burn overnight. Reputation is a multiplier. A strong reputation multiplies your power. It makes people assume your competence before you prove it. It makes them defer to your leadership without questioning it. It gives your words extra weight, even when you're silent. With a solid reputation, your mistakes are forgiven. Without it, your successes are questioned. It's not fair. It's not rational. But power doesn't operate on fairness. It operates on perception. Reputation is built slowly, destroyed instantly. It can take years to build trust, and seconds to lose it. A single tweet, a careless comment, a public failure, a rumor, and the castle crumbles. We live in a time where screenshots replace context, where assumptions spread faster than explanations, and where public opinion changes with the wind. In this environment, to not protect your reputation is suicidal. The unseen game behind every room. Every room you walk into, boardroom, courtroom, interview, podcast, group chat, has an invisible scoreboard, and you don't control it. Others do. They track what you've said, what you've done, who you associate with, what you post, how you react. They won't always tell you, but they remember, and their collective perception becomes your reality. Reputation is not what you say about yourself. It's what they say when you're not in the room. Why power players guard it like their life? Because they know you don't get a second chance at first perception. That's why CEOs hire reputation managers. Why politicians never admit fault publicly. Why top actors disappear for a year after a scandal. Why generals and billionaires are paranoid about image leaks and personal branding. They understand something the average person doesn't. Reputation is power in condensed form. It can open borders, win negotiations, silence opposition, attract loyalty, create opportunities from thin air. It can also make enemies attack you before you're ready, or allies abandon you when you need them most. The danger of indifference. The ones who say, "I don't care what others think," are either lying or not playing the game at all, because the game is being played whether you care or not. Every message you ignore, every conflict you handle emotionally, every uncalculated post is either building your reputation or burning it down. You might get away with it at first, but over time, indifference becomes a pattern, and patterns shape perception, and perception shapes reality. The reputation equation. Let's simplify. What you do times what they remember times what others say equals your power. Not your skill, not your ambition, not even your results, but how all of it is perceived, filtered through the minds of others. You might be the smartest in the room, but if people believe you're arrogant, unreliable, or risky, you'll be treated as such. Reputation is not image. Let's be clear, image is how you present yourself. Reputation is how the world receives and spreads it. Image is controlled. Reputation is earned. That's why trying to fake it doesn't work in the long term. You can buy followers, you can manipulate press, you can even bluff your way through a few deals. But over time, your reputation will catch up to who you truly are. It is a living reflection of your character, amplified by your history. Guard it like your life. This is why Robert Greene didn't say, value your reputation. He said, guard it with your life, because you can recover from financial ruin. You can bounce back from failure. You can rebrand, rebuild, restart. But once your name becomes mud, the slope gets steep. People remember shame longer than success, and they retell downfall more than triumph. That's why the smart ones are paranoid. They don't overshare. They don't trust too easily. They apologize strategically. They disappear when needed. They speak less, but with precision. They never react publicly until they've thought privately. Because they know, in the court of power, reputation is your witness, your defense, and your verdict. Main historical example, Sulla versus Marius, the battle of reputations that shaped Rome. In the final decades of the Roman Republic, two names dominated the political and military landscape: Lucius Cornelius Sulla and Gaius Marius. Both were brilliant generals. Both rose from relatively modest origins. Both shaped the fate of Rome. But only one truly understood the ruthless power of reputation, and used it not just as a weapon, but as a legacy so feared that it lived long after he died. This is not just a story of politics, it's a warning. Those who master reputation rule beyond the grave. The rise of Marius, the people's champion. Gaius Marius was a war hero, a self-made man, a novus homo, the first of his family to reach the Roman Senate. He was beloved by the plebs, respected by the army, and celebrated for his victories against the Numidians and the Germanic tribes. For a time, Marius was Rome. He held the consulship a record 7 times, an unthinkable feat. He reformed the army. He gave land to veterans. He branded himself as the man of the people. But beneath the surface, Marius hungered for more, and his ambition had a cost. He began to fear rivals. He eliminated opposition. He became increasingly erratic, and in his later years, his reputation began to shift, from brilliant reformer to paranoid old tyrant. Still, his name held power. Even as he aged, his reputation alone was enough to gather legions. But then came Sulla, the aristocrat with a vengeful smile. Lucius Cornelius Sulla was everything Marius was not: cold, calculating, aristocratic. Where Marius inspired, Sulla terrified. Sulla didn't chase popularity, he didn't court the mob, he engineered perception. He dressed plainly, yet moved with imperial calm. He spoke softly but struck brutally. He smiled while eliminating threats, and let others spread the stories. His genius wasn't just military, it was reputational. While Marius fought wars on the battlefield, Sulla fought a war of perception. He let others mock Marius's erratic decisions. He quietly won key allies in the Senate. He planted doubt, let whispers grow, and then, when the moment was right, he acted. The March on Rome. Reputation becomes reality. In 88 BCE, Sulla did the unthinkable. He marched on Rome with his own legions, the first Roman to ever do so. It was technically illegal, politically suicidal, militarily dangerous. But Sulla knew reputation precedes legality. The shock alone paralyzed the Senate. No one expected it. And that was the point. He didn't just seize power, he seized narrative control. The message was clear. I am the law now. Marius fled. But Rome remembered. Sulla didn't stop there. He purged enemies. He created prescriptions, public lists of men marked for death. Anyone could kill them. Their reputations were erased from history, and their wealth seized by the state. He wasn't just killing people, he was killing names. And he signed the orders with a calm, confident smile. The final blow, reputation beyond death. Eventually Marius returned from exile. Briefly, in a desperate, bloody coup, he seized control of Rome once more. But it was too late. His mind was gone, his grip on power unstable. His reputation, once golden, was now stained with madness and revenge. He died days later, not in battle, but in illness. Sulla returned, and what he did next etched his reputation in history forever. He became dictator, not just in title, but in totality. He rewrote the constitution. He reshaped the courts. He punished not only his enemies, but anyone whose reputation hinted at dissent. Even after he voluntarily resigned the dictatorship, a political masterstroke, his name held such fear that no one dared cross his legacy. The lesson: reputation is immortality or infamy. Marius had victories, reforms, and the love of the people, but he died as a paranoid shadow of himself. Sulla was feared, calculating, often hated, but his name became a symbol of order, ruthlessness, and unstoppable authority. The Senate passed laws to avoid another Sulla. Future dictators, like Julius Caesar, would study his tactics, and generations feared becoming another Marius, powerful but undone by a crumbling reputation. In the end, both men died, but only one truly ruled Rome from beyond the grave. This is the true power of reputation. It is more than popularity, more than charisma, more than your deeds. It is the narrative you leave behind, sculpted while alive, feared after death. Sulla mastered this, Marius misunderstood it. Which will you be? Psychological and strategic mechanism. Why reputation rules the game. In every social interaction, from casual conversations to boardroom negotiations, there's an invisible current flowing beneath the words. Perception, and within that current, one force quietly dictates outcomes, shapes decisions, opens doors, or slams them shut. That force is reputation. It is, by far, the most powerful social currency. And what makes it truly lethal is that it works in silence. Like gravity, you don't see it, but everything is pulled by it. Let's break down why reputation works so potently on the psychological and strategic levels. 1. Your brain is a pattern-seeking machine. From the moment you meet someone, your brain begins building a model of who they are. Not based on facts, but based on signals, tone, clothes, vocabulary, online presence, status cues, how others treat them. This model, your mental file on them, forms almost instantly. Psychologists call this the thin slice effect. Within a few seconds, we subconsciously judge someone's competence, trustworthiness, and status. And those impressions are sticky. Once your brain forms a pattern, it actively resists updating it unless it's forced to. This is called confirmation bias. You see what confirms the story you already believe. So when someone has a strong reputation, your brain looks for reasons to keep believing it. That's why charismatic people get more chances, and why someone labeled difficult rarely gets heard again. Reputation becomes the filter through which all their actions are seen. Second, status hierarchies are ancient and inescapable. We are social animals. And like wolves or primates, we instinctively form hierarchies. Even in casual settings, your brain is constantly evaluating. Who's dominant? Who's competent? Who's liked? Who leads? Reputation is the shortcut to status. It tells others where you rank, without you needing to prove it. In fact, trying to prove your worth too much can backfire. It signals low status, desperation. But a solid reputation does the opposite. It allows you to move in silence and still command respect. That's why powerful people don't rush. They don't explain themselves. They let their reputations speak first. Third, reputation lowers risk for others. Here's the hidden truth of power. People want safety more than truth. Before they support you, hire you, or follow you, people ask themselves, is this person safe? Will trusting them cost me? Your reputation is a risk filter. A bad one screams, this person could blow up everything. A strong one whispers, you're safe with me. It's not about morality. It's about predictability. In business, this is why companies pay consultants with great reputations 10 times more, even if they're less competent than a newcomer. The reputation reduces perceived risk. In dating, politics, hiring, same dynamic. Reputation equals trust, equals reduced uncertainty, equals faster decisions in your favor. 4. In the attention economy, narrative is power. In the modern world, people don't judge you based on reality. They judge you based on the narrative around you. Your reputation is that narrative. It is your personal mythology. And just like ancient myths shaped empires, your story shapes how others behave around you. If your reputation is bold and daring, others will treat you with intrigue. If your reputation is cold and calculated, others will fear crossing you. If your reputation is soft and accommodating, people will test your limits. You are not just a person. You are a character in the mental stories others are telling themselves. Strategically, this means your job isn't just to act. It's to orchestrate how your actions are perceived. Every move should reinforce the role you want to play. 5. Reputation is a multiplier of every resource. Here's a brutal truth. The same action has different results depending on who does it. When a respected CEO fires someone, tough but necessary leadership. When an intern raises a concern, who do they think they are? The action is identical. The reputation multiplies or diminishes the impact. This applies to pricing. Reputable brands charge more. Influence. A respected voice shapes culture. Time. People respond faster to high reputation names. Leverage. Investors, allies, and followers gather faster. In power dynamics, reputation is what allows asymmetric force. Doing less, achieving more. Because people project authority onto you. 6. Reputation can be weaponized or used against you. Perhaps the most dangerous side of reputation is that it can be weaponized. Rivals can whisper doubts about you, and those whispers, if believable, can stain everything you touch. One misstep, if not strategically handled, can become a scarlet letter. If your reputation is vague, others will define it for you. That's why the best tacticians actively shape their reputation. They don't leave it to chance. They control their narrative. They seed their story. They silence the wrong rumors and amplify the right legends. And they understand. In the court of public perception, you are either the storyteller or the story. 7. Why it's so hard to rebuild reputation once lost. Rebuilding a shattered reputation is possible, but rare. And here's why. People anchor to the negative version of you. They fear being fooled again, even if you change. Public opinion loves a fall more than a rise. In psychology, this is the negativity bias. Bad news is more memorable and more powerful than good news. One scandal can override years of discipline. This is why smart power players guard their name like a vault. They avoid situations that require damage control. They act slowly. They speak less. They keep receipts. Reputation, once lost, is not only hard to recover, it becomes a weapon others can use against you forever. In summary, reputation is strategic armor. Think of reputation as your shield, protecting you from attack, your sword, striking with authority. Your currency, unlocking trust and leverage. Your shadow, always present, even when silent. In chess, beginners chase the king. Masters control the board. Reputation is the board. If you don't control it, you will be controlled by it. Secondary historical and modern examples. Reputation in action. 1. Marie Antoinette. The power of one sentence. Before the French Revolution exploded, Queen Marie Antoinette was already hated. But her reputation as indifferent and out of touch crystallized the moment rumors spread that she said, "Let them eat cake." There's no record she actually said it, but it didn't matter. The story fit the public's perception of her: extravagant, aloof, careless. That one phrase became her legacy, and it helped ignite a revolution. Lesson: reputation doesn't need facts. It only needs a story people want to believe. 2. Richard Nixon. The stain of Tricky Dick. Nixon was brilliant, strategic, and accomplished. He ended the Vietnam War. He opened China. But he also had a decades-long reputation as secretive and ethically flexible. So, when Watergate happened, the world didn't need much evidence to turn on him. The name Tricky Dick, once a campaign insult, became the truth in the public's mind. Even after his resignation, he spent 20 years trying to rebuild his image. He succeeded in some diplomatic circles, but never fully in the public eye. Lesson: if your reputation leans dark, one scandal can end everything. 3. Steve Jobs. Rebuilding a broken name. In the mid-80s, Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he co-founded, Apple. His reputation: brilliant but arrogant, creative but unmanageable. He disappeared for a few years, but quietly rebuilt. He founded Next. He funded Pixar. He delivered wins. When he returned to Apple in 1997, he came back with a reforged reputation. Still bold, but now wiser. Visionary, magnetic, a product genius. His name became a brand of its own. Lesson: reputation can be rebuilt if you retreat, reshape, and return with undeniable results. 4. Julius Caesar. The man who protected his name like a fortress. Caesar understood reputation as a political weapon. He never let his enemies define him first. He wrote his own war commentaries, third person, vivid, glorifying. He paraded triumphs. He forgave enemies publicly, reinforcing a myth of power and mercy. Even when the Senate feared his rise, his reputation with the army and people protected him until the very end. And after his assassination, it was his name, not Brutus's, that lived in glory. Lesson: tell your story first. If you don't, others will do it for you, and not kindly. 5. Elizabeth Holmes. From icon to infamy. Once hailed as the next Steve Jobs, Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos built a $9 billion company on the back of her personal myth: black turtlenecks, charisma, media charm, glowing Forbes covers. Investors believed in her reputation, not her tech. But once doubts emerged and facts began cracking through the surface, her fall was brutal. Today, Holmes's name is synonymous not with innovation, but deception. Lesson: a reputation built on illusion is a ticking time bomb. 6. Winston Churchill. Resurrected by reputation. Churchill was out of favor for nearly a decade before World War II. He was seen as outdated, loud, even dangerous. But when Hitler rose, Britain needed a lion. And Churchill's old image of boldness, strength, and defiance suddenly became his weapon. His prior reputation, once dismissed, now became his rallying cry. He led the country through its darkest hour, fueled by words and willpower. Lesson: your reputation may lie dormant, but in the right moment, it can rise like a sword. What these examples prove: across centuries, empires, and industries, we see one truth. Reputation precedes action and amplifies its effect. It can carry you through war, Churchill. Or get you executed, Marie Antoinette. It can make you billions, jobs, or land you in prison, homes, but in all cases, it multiplies consequences. Beginner mistakes, how rookies destroy their reputation without even noticing. Reputation isn't built overnight, but it can be destroyed in seconds, sometimes without you realizing what you did wrong. New players in power games often learn this lesson too late. They believe that skill, hard work, or good intentions will carry them. They're wrong. In the real world, your image often matters more than your reality. Here are the most common and dangerous pattern mistakes rookies make when it comes to reputation. 1. Thinking reputation is optional. Beginners often act like reputation is something for celebrities, politicians, or CEOs. They think, I don't need to worry about how I'm seen. I just need to be good at what I do. That's like saying you don't need to worry about your clothes on a first date, just your personality. Yes, substance matters, but in a world flooded with options, perception is the filter everyone uses. People judge fast and remember long. You don't get to choose if you're playing the reputation game. You already are. Second, letting others define them first. If you don't actively shape your reputation, someone else will. And they probably won't do it in your favor. A colleague might call you difficult. A competitor might label you inexperienced. An investor might whisper risky. It doesn't matter if they're wrong. If their version spreads before yours, you'll spend months or years trying to erase it. Smart operators don't just manage their work. They manage their story. Third, confusing transparency with oversharing. There's a modern myth that you should always be authentic, show everything, or be radically transparent. But power doesn't work like that. Reputation is not about spilling your every flaw or insecurity. It's about selective disclosure, showing the right pieces at the right time. Oversharing can damage trust. It can make you look chaotic, unstable, or unprofessional. Guard your narrative. Don't confuse vulnerability with recklessness. Fourth, reacting emotionally to criticism. Nothing destroys a reputation faster than emotional outbursts, especially online. You see a negative comment or a rumor, and you feel the urge to set the record straight. You respond with anger. You attack. You spiral. Congratulations. You've just validated the rumor and made yourself look weak. The strong move: silence, strategy, redirection. Don't get pulled into drama. Let your reputation work for you, not against you. 5. Assuming past wins. Guarantee future respect. Many rookies rise quickly. They land a few wins. They think they're bulletproof. So they stop nurturing their image. They take liberties. They get sloppy. Suddenly, the person everyone admired becomes the one everyone avoids. In reality, reputation has a half-life. It decays if you don't maintain it. Legends become jokes. Icons become footnotes. Never stop earning your reputation, even after you think you've secured it. 6. Trying to please everyone. A common rookie mistake is trying to be liked by all. You soften your edges. You avoid taking stands. You water yourself down into a bland, agreeable character. But the truth is, strong reputations are polarizing. The bold are loved by some and hated by others. That's fine. In fact, it's essential. The moment your name means nothing to everyone, it means nothing, period. Better to be respected by the right people than liked by everyone. 7. Tying their reputation to the wrong people. Birds of a feather fall together. New players often link themselves to mentors, business partners, or communities without checking their reputations. When those people fall, they drag you down with them. Guilt by association is real. One photo, one endorsement, one tweet, and suddenly you're defending something you never even did. Guard your circle, vet your connections. If someone's name becomes toxic, be ready to cut the rope. fast. 8. Thinking a reputation can be fixed later. The most dangerous mindset is, if I screw this up, I'll just rebuild later. Sometimes you can, but often you can't. First impressions can become permanent brands. One bad story can follow you for decades, or forever. In the age of screenshots, Google and viral cancel mobs, you must treat every interaction as reputationally permanent. Assume the world is watching, because one day it will be. 9. Acting like reputation is a side effect, not a tool. Powerful people understand reputation isn't just something you have. It's something you use to open doors, to silence enemies, to build alliances, to set prices. Beginners wait for others to notice their work. Masters shape perception with intent. They craft the way others speak about them when they're not in the room. That's not vanity, that's strategy. 10th, underestimating how fast it can all collapse. You can build a name for 10 years and lose it in 10 minutes. One angry post, one leaked video, one drunken mistake, one moment of ego. Too many rookies think their reputation is built into their resume, but it's not. It's built in people's minds, and that's a fragile place. The higher you climb, the more brittle your reputation becomes. Guard it with paranoia. Final thought, reputation is like fire. It lights the way, warms the room, and cooks the meal. But left unattended, it burns everything to the ground. Don't just hope your name stays clean. Make it your mission. Actionable tactics. How to build, defend, and repair your reputation like a master strategist. Reputation isn't a trophy you win once and place on a shelf. It's a living ecosystem. And if you don't actively shape it, protect it, and evolve it, it will rot. Below are precise, actionable strategies to help you. 1. Build a powerful reputation from scratch. 2. Defend it against attacks. 3. Repair it if damaged. First, building a powerful reputation. 1.1. Craft your one-sentence identity. The most powerful reputations can be summarized in a single, sticky phrase. Think of it like your mental logo. He's the guy who always delivers on time. She's the one who solves impossible problems. He never talks, but when he does, you listen. Tactic. Write down 3 to 5 things you want to be known for. Condense them into one sentence. Repeat that sentence across platforms, bios, conversations, and behaviors. Assistation my chore. 1.2. Become predictably excellent. Trust isn't built on random moments of greatness. It's built on consistent excellence. People must know what to expect from you and get it every time. Be the person who always shows up early. Be the one whose emails are always clear and sharp. Be the one who always finishes what they start. Tactic. Identify the signature moments where people form impressions of you. First calls, emails, handshakes, delivery. Master those with ruthless consistency. 1.3. Build a visible track record. Reputation is a public memory. If no one sees your work, your wins won't help you. Tactic. Document your results. Share your wins in a non-boastful way. Use client testimonials, portfolio examples, case studies, or before versus after posts. Let others speak for you. 1.4. Control the first impression. Humans form lasting opinions within seconds. You need to front-load excellence. Tactic. Polish your online profiles, bio, and photo. Script your first 10 seconds on a call. Prepare for the "tell me about yourself" moment like it's a pitch. Rehearse the image you want to transmit. Hashington, what is in DNC? 1.5. Use association to boost perception. Reputation is contagious. If you work with respected people, you become respected by default. Tactic. Collaborate with high-integrity individuals, elite brands, or respected thought leaders. Even a subtle mention, I worked on X with Y raises your perceived status. Salwich Noshari Inishi Dashashan Mutafi. Second, defending your reputation from damage. 2.1. Have a firewall of integrity. Don't just act honest. Be honest, especially when no one is watching. Eventually, every lie gets revealed. Every shortcut comes due. Tactic: create red lines you never cross. When pressured, fall back on your code. A clean conscience is a reputational superpower. Satin Shulwidi, Rishi 2.2. Don't feed the trolls. Not every attack deserves a response. In fact, responding emotionally to every comment makes you look insecure. Tactic: have a cooling-off protocol. When you're criticized online or in person, wait 24 hours before responding. In that time, craft a calm, factual, or humorous reply, or choose silence. Da 2.3. Preempt misunderstandings. Smart players don't wait for damage. They predict where perception might break and adjust proactively. Tactic: regularly audit how your actions could be misread. Ask, if someone misquoted this, how would it look? Then adjust your tone, delivery, or context accordingly. 2.4. Develop allies who defend you. A lone person defending themselves sounds defensive. A third party defending you sounds credible. Tactic: build relationships with a few key allies, clients, team members, mentors, who know your character and results. Support them too. In moments of conflict, their voice is your armor. 2.5. Say less, mean more. Over-explaining is the death of power. Masters of reputation know how to use controlled silence. Tactic: when addressing criticism or explaining actions, keep it concise. A single confident sentence is more powerful than a 10-minute justification. 3. Repairing a damaged reputation. Even the best slip, a mistake, a misunderstanding, a betrayal, and suddenly your name feels radioactive. Here's how to fix it. 3.1. Own the truth fully. Partial apologies or evasive language only deepen mistrust. Tactic: acknowledge the exact harm. Take full responsibility. Say what you're doing to fix it, and follow through, publicly. Your comeback begins the moment people see you're not hiding. 3.2. Go silent. Then go excellent. After damage, stop talking. Start working in silence. Let your next phase of excellence rebuild the story. Tactic: launch a quiet streak of wins. No flash, no drama. Let people whisper, they're really turning things around. Reputation returns first in rumors, then in results. 3.3. Craft a comeback narrative. You must control the news story people will tell. Tactic: after you've rebuilt some momentum, share the lessons you've learned. Use humility. Use honesty. Let the world know, I fell. I learned. I'm better now. Don't erase the past. Transform it. 3.4. Limit the echoes. Some reputational wounds echo longer than they deserve. Don't let them dominate your identity. Tactic: replace the old narrative with new ones. Publish new work. Build new partnerships. Get new testimonials. Flood the zone with fresh context. 3.5. Use time as your ally. The most powerful repair tool is time paired with integrity. Tactic: stay patient, stay clean, stay consistent. Reputation is built in public, but it heals in private behavior. Final notes. Reputation is not your logo, your resume, or your follower count. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. And it's your most underpriced strategic asset. Most people build it passively. You now know how to build it aggressively, intelligently, and intentionally. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because in power games, it does. Conclusion: you are your reputation. Strip away your job title, take away your wealth, your followers, your status symbols. What's left? Your name. That's what people remember. That's what enters the room before you do, and lingers after you leave. Your reputation is not something external. It's not your brand. It's not your PR. It's not what you post. It's what people feel when they hear your name. It is, in many ways, the realest version of you, because it is how the world reflects back your actions, your choices, your patterns. And once it's tarnished, even if you're right, you no longer have the power to tell your own story. Others will speak for you, and they won't be kind. That's why this law isn't just about reputation as a strategic tool. It's about self-respect. When you defend your name, you're not just protecting public image. You're protecting your inner compass. In a world of noise, deception, and manipulation, a strong reputation is an anchor. It keeps you grounded. It keeps others honest. And it creates a force field around your power, one that protects you long after you've left the battlefield. Power without reputation is brittle. It cracks under scrutiny. It collapses when whispered about in the shadows. But power rooted in reputation, it multiplies because others carry it forward for you, speaking your name in rooms you've never entered, defending you when you're not around, opening doors you never had to knock on. So ask yourself, what do people say when I'm not there? What does my name feel like in their mouth? Do I inspire trust or doubt, respect or convenience, strength or noise? Every day, you make a choice to shape your name or let others shape it for you, to defend it or leave it unguarded, to live in alignment with your highest self or betray it for short-term gain. You don't get to opt out of the game. You're already in it. Your reputation is being written right now. So live accordingly, because in the court of power, your reputation is both your sword and your shield. And sometimes, it's the only thing standing between you and ruin. If this resonated with you, if you now understand that reputation isn't decoration, but armor, then subscribe, because the journey through power has only just begun. In the next law, we'll dive into law number 6, court attention at all costs, where you'll learn how invisibility is death, and why those who master attention control the world. Don't just be remembered, be impossible to ignore.